Hi everyone, this is Nate from Customs Broker Geek, and I wanted to record a video to show my opinion on the paper versus electronic reference materials. So I've been talking about this on LinkedIn and on our site for a little bit now. I thought I'd do a video to walk you through it. So the first place to go to see how this works, head over to the Customs Broker exam registration page or announcement page, and then come down here to register now. We're not going to register, but there's a lot of information on this page, and there's a sample exam so you can see what the electronic reference materials looks like. So come down here on this page to the sample exam and click this link, and then you're going to fill in some information to get going and put in your name, last name, email, and then there'll be a bunch of prompts to work through. And here, I'll just get it started real quick just to show you what it looks like. So it'll load this page, and there's a few prompts to go through where it gives you information about how it works and how the navigation works. So just click next through all this stuff, and then you'll finally get to the exam. And I have it up over here, so I'm just going to jump over here. So this is what the exam interface looks like. Here's your question, you have your navigation buttons, your timer, and then over here on the right, these are your electronic reference materials, okay? And if you click the arrow, it loads it up. It's a PDF, and then you can navigate through the pages. And depending on which one you're looking at, the navigation is a little bit different. We're going to answer this question using both the electronic and the paper CFR, so you can see the difference between the two. So I'm going to click on this Title 19 CFR link, and then it's going to open the PDF of it. And so I can navigate through these pages like this, which I don't recommend because that will take you forever to find where you're going. If you click this second little icon, it gives you like a table of contents or an index so you can get to different places. So for example, you will spend a lot of time in Part 111 on Customs Broker requirements, so that's a quick way to get there. Our question here, let me resize this. Our question is on quotas, okay? So we want to get to where quotas are. So we're going to come through this index here. You might know off the top of your head if you've been studying, but here Part 132 is on quotas. Okay, I'm making this just a little bit bigger so you can see there's this round circle at the bottom that lets you resize the page a little bit. And then there's also a zoom up here so you can read a little better. All right, so we clicked 132 over here, so we get to quotas, and I'm going to zoom in just a little more because I can't quite see that. And we'll scroll down and look through our index here, and we're looking for, our question specifically is on quota merchandise that was imported in excess, and specifically absolute quota, and which of these is not an approved method of disposal. Okay, so you can move this window around, to resize it and help, but it always stays in the same place, right? If you click this here, it's going to minimize it. Click it again, it'll come back out. But you're only going to have one screen on the exam. So this is the interface. It's an electronic PDF. You're only going to have this one screen, so you can, kind of minimize, get it out of your way, and then pull it back over. But you can't have it on a second screen or open separately. You only have one monitor during the exam. Okay, so you're only going to have one monitor. This is what it's like. So I recommend come in here and try to use the electronic reference materials and the navigation and see how it works for you. In my opinion, I'm going to show you why. Paper is faster. Okay, so in here we're looking for merchandise imported in excess of quota. So right here we see 132.5 merchandise imported in excess of quota. That's pretty close, so I'm just going to try to scroll to it. So 132.5, here we go. So merchandise imported in excess of quota quantities, absolute quota, imported in excess of the quantity admissible. Under the quota must be disposed of in accordance with paragraph C. And we come down to paragraph C, disposition of excess merchandise. imported in excess of either an absolute or a tariff rate quota may be held for opening of the next quota period by placing it in a foreign trade zone or by entering it for a warehouse, or it may be exported or destroyed under customs supervision. So that's our answer in this paragraph right here. And if we come back and look at our choices, which of the following is not an approved method? So we can place it in a foreign trade zone, that was there. We can enter it into a warehouse, that was there. We can't enter it into U.S. commerce because the quota is closed, right? It's absolute quota. Tariff rate, you could and pay the higher rate. Absolute, you cannot. You can export it under customs supervision. And if you need to double check that, you can open this window back up and then find where you were, and you can check again. So that one wasn't too bad, right? Because it was pretty easy to find. So now let's take a look at finding that, answering the same question, which the answer was C. Let's answer the same question, but using paper reference material. Now I'm going to demonstrate answering that same question, but using the paper CFR. To find this, we're going to use our handy index tabs here. And we're going to look for the information on quotas, which is in 132. So here's my tab for quotas. And then I can look at the index here, and I'm looking for imported in excess of quota quantity, so 132.5. Let's come over here, 132.3, 132.5, and I have highlighted. You see I've highlighted information here, so we want to know what to do when we've imported merchandise in excess of an absolute quota. So merchandise in excess of absolute quota must be disposed in accordance with paragraph C. Paragraph C, disposition of excess merchandise, either absolute or tariff rate, may be held for the opening of the next quota period by placing it in a foreign trade zone or entering it for a warehouse, or it may be exported or destroyed under customs supervision. So you can see there, with the tabs, I was able to get to my location pretty quickly, but then the highlighting made a huge difference of drawing attention to where this information would be on the page. And if you go through our course and you take homework and quizzes and practice exams and you highlight where you find information, your entire regulations are going to be highlighted. So when you get to a page, it's going to draw your attention to where that information is, and it's going to help you find the answer much more quickly, in my opinion, than the electronic version where you have to read through. It's just black and white page and you have to scroll. There is that find function, but it's going to find those words anywhere within that entire document, which is over 3,000 pages. So sometimes you can locate a term pretty quickly, but sometimes it's going to cycle you through hundreds of results before you find what you need. So in my opinion, in this rare circumstance, paper still rules when it comes to taking the customs broker exam.